Hello everybody, I'm back with another video for you today, and I have a deck for each faction that you might enjoy. Figured it was time to spread the love to the other factions that I haven't looked at yet. This will be a bonus video, so I'll have another one on the channel today, hopefully, with some gameplay, maybe playing one of these decks or something a bit different. But either way, let's jump into it. So the first deck I have for you is for Northern Realms. I actually took a little bit of time to tinker around with this, and the concept here is to play an engine-heavy deck. The name Engine Assault, I think it's appropriate here. And of course you have Amphibious Assault doing a lot of work and allowing you to get your sort of lower provision cards and buff them up, keep them alive and get a lot of value from those. So you're thinking buffing things like Anna, potentially Egmont, Kerak Frigate, those are kind of great targets. Drummer as well, a potential target there, and you're just going to try to get big value with your Trident infantry, boosting a lot of units. You've got Devotion for the Marine, and just, yeah, in general, going to get a lot of boosted guys for Visigoth, Voimir with the kind of volunteer spam, and Kerak Frigate. I don't know how that actually works out in reality because I haven't tried it, but in theory, that can be quite powerful. You get the Kerak Frigate boosted up, and then cycling out these volunteers, which you then boost up and Visigoth out. So a lot of engine value, and in theory a lot of removal value as well with Philippa and things. You do have to draw into your kind of bigger golds, since you're not running other consistency, but getting the Assault with Natalis is very reliable. So pretty nice deck here. I will be trying out some Northern Realms very soon, and I think it has a lot of potential. So if you're after an NR deck, then maybe give this one a try. Okay, next up we have a bit of Nilfgaard, and I think probably the most reliable way to do Nilfgaard at the moment is probably still double Bull, just because there's so little Bomb Heaver action going around at the moment, so little artifact removal. Scenario is really, really powerful, and just playing it twice is going to generate you a lot of value. Now, of course, there are veiled units, which make things a little bit harder, and you can't really play things like Morale if you want to do Devotion, which I think you want to do because you want to play Usurper. It's very, very good with Thirsty Dames, which you're getting with the Bull and playing from hand. And yeah, of course you want to probably play one of Amnesty because that card can be very, very good situationally. Coup de Grace on Joachim and, Roderick and stuff is also a pretty nice little option. You might want to play around and tinker with the deck a little bit, maybe put in, for example, a Fergus for a bit more spy activation. Baratheons is something you can consider cutting or running depending on what you're feeling like. And the bronzes, again, can be changed around. If you want to go for more of a spy package, then feel free to give that a go and let me know how it works for you. But yeah, I think just going pretty all in on poisons is still a pretty good approach, and yeah, there's Veil, but you're still going to get some decent value, and if your bull is never being answered, then playing two bulls is going to be pretty damn good. And yeah, Usurper, also very solid card. Alright, next up we have a bit of Syndicate, and I think the best way to do Syndicate that I've seen right now is Congregate Crimes, so kind of very similar to what you were doing kind of last patch with Congregate, but with a few new cards added in. Ulrich and Fallen Knights are two of the big ones. They're getting so many points if they survive. If they survive, that's the big part that you need to keep in mind there. Of course, you want to protect them with Defender. You want to maybe use your leader charges in the same turn, like later in the game, in order to keep them alive. And yeah, you just want to play a bunch of engines with all of your Intimidate units, your, portaled out mutants, your, Fallen Knights and Crown Splitter Thug and Sir Scoia'tel and all this good stuff, and then yeah, you've got an Neuromancy for a bit of consistency, although that's kind of the only one along with Excommunication, so you might run into consistency issues. You got Furco as well, I guess. If you run into consistency problems, try running Bank maybe, cutting Novigradian Justice, and switching some things around there. But in theory, this deck has a lot of points. It's just a matter of getting to a round which enables you to play a lot of Intimidate and a lot of Crimes. But yeah, on paper this deck is very, very strong. Next we have an Ethereal deck. Now this isn't kind of all-in Ethereal like I know some people have been playing. It's nearly there, but it's mostly just a value-based deck. You have the option to Caranthe Ethereal if you really want to, although more often than not it will be better to Caranthe Living Armor. And you got Fisher King to guarantee your Ethereal. It's a very big card. You have some kind of lower end in the deck here, the Arrakis Nest, the Night Wraith, to gain you some big extra Ethereal value. Really, these two cards are synergizing with playing a double Ethereal, so going Caranthe and then Arrakis Nest. Caranthe, Ethereal, Arrakis Nest, and then just the other Ethereal plus Night Wraith. That's a way to get some really nice value from those guys. Or you can just, skip using your leader ability with Ethereal and instead use the Arrakis Nest for that easy value. This might not even be a card that you want to play late, or sort of in the final rounds. You might want to play that earlier on even to sort of bully the opponent or to push a round 2 or something like that. There's definitely options there, but of course your long round is very good if you don't run into Lamberts or Lacerates or Wild Boars or all sorts of stuff like that. Ethereal's a little bit gimmicky, but it is definitely strong when I think you're supporting him with just a refined and strong Thrive deck, which is what Gurnakora Fruits of Izgith provides. So next up we have a bit of Symbiosis. Not sure if this is the best way to play Scoia'tel, but it does have a lot of points, especially in a long round, especially when your Ithne doesn't get kind of answered immediately. Now, quite often you're going to just want to try to survive and get her down in round 3 and then just go crazy with the nature cards, with the Mystic Echo onto Call of the Forest or Council or whatever is best in that kind of situation. And you've got quite a bit of hand buff as well to get you a bit of carryover. You've got the Circle of Life. You can play 2 of those if you're feeling like that. Sage is optional. It's quite nice to have the Elf to be able to pull from Council, I think. And really, Council is very strong in this deck because you only have a couple of dwarfs with Figus and Harold Gord. He is, for some reason, a Council right now, but yeah, either way, very, very decent in a long round. It's punishable if you're getting bled and pushed, which will sometimes happen if you're playing, a lot of carryover cards in round 1. So be aware of that and try to avoid that from happening if you can. Dunker is just a real standout card, honestly. Tactical Advantage Dunker, and I mean, just carry over for days. Very, very nice. So yeah, pretty good deck, and a fun option for Scoia'tel there. And last but not least, we have Skellige, which I'm sure you guys have seen at this point. Now this is kind of a standard-ish Wild Boar mid-range kind of Skellige with, a fair few warriors thrown in the mix. We do have a raiding fleet and longships and berserkers. You can even cut berserkers and play light longships if you want. You can also play protectors in 4 provisions if you're feeling like you need some more engine value rather than playing villagers and things. So there's options there, and there's of course different ways you can play this style of deck. You can even cut Wild Boar of the Sea. I have a video on that version of the deck if you haven't seen it, so that's something you can do, and it's still very strong. Skellige right now is looking really, really good. You just have so many damage, tools, removal, control options, and long round devastation with Greatsword and Wild Boar of the Sea. And of course your bronze is just really, really powerful with that veterancy and sort of power creep that we're seeing on some of those. So yeah, that's the Skellige deck. Probably the strongest of the bunch. A couple of them I haven't super optimized, so you might have to tinker a little bit yourself, but there are some deck ideas for you and some decks to play if you want something from the other factions that I haven't got round to making a video for yet. So, that being said, thanks a lot for watching, guys. Hope that's useful to you. Do subscribe if you want more videos, of course. Hit the notification bell if you want to see whenever I post a video, because I'm not very regular these days. I've just been doing videos here and there, just whenever I'm able to. But anyway, thanks a lot again for watching, guys. Have a great day, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.